What's going on, Gator Nation? Your boy Pat Young is here for another episode of The Young and the Rowdies. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Got another special guest today, another current player, the new big man in town, as I should say. Before we get into that, please remember to subscribe. You can find these videos on the field at 68medianetwork.com if you want to watch, or if you want to continue to just listen on your drive in the gym, wherever it may be. Find us on Apple or Spotify podcasts, wherever you're listening to this. Please share with your friends, share with all the Gators you know. Give us a rating, please. I think so far we got about 72 ratings. They've been awesome. The reviews are awesome. But besides that, let's get into this next episode. A new face to the Gators, I'll say that. But let's get into it. Let's go. It is time for this next episode. I'm with the new sheriff, the new big man in charge, Colin Castleton, the first-year Gator that has come and made his presence known. What's going on, C? How you doing, my man?
Good. I'm doing well.
You got a game today.
Yeah, Missouri. Big game today, for sure.
Big game. Yeah, absolutely. You guys have been looking really good. You definitely surprised. Not say surprised. I mean, I'm sure you knew what you could bring to the table. But, people didn't know really much about you after you coming from Michigan and you weren't playing much there. We didn't know, like, this guy was so good and just ready, that you were ready right away to come and contribute. But, man, it's been awesome seeing your passion and having another back to the basket guy that's in there just giving defenses a problem, both sides of the court. But what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Good. I'm excited for this month, really. March is, it's special. So I'm definitely excited. I know the team's excited, but just happy where we're at. We got to keep working. Obviously, there's things we got to fix, but overall, I'm feeling good, confident, and just ready to keep this thing rolling for sure.
I see behind you, man. It seems like you forgot to make your bed.
Nah, I woke up not too long ago. I slept in a little bit, so I had a meeting earlier, but then, I didn't make it yet, so I'm going to make it when I leave to go to the gym.
They say, making your bed is not just for the reason of, like, being clean, but it's a great tool to trick your brain. It's like to get your first win of the day. Like, you start your day, get that one little task done, and somehow there's something in your brain that just helps you to continue to be productive through the rest of your day. So that's the only reason I make my bed every day, is because I want to have.
I usually do it before I leave. Like before I leave my room and stuff, I'll clean it all up before I get out. So, but we have shoot around at 1 or something, so I'll get it all fixed up. But yeah.
Where are you living at?
I live by right next to the practice facility. So there's those tennis courts.
Okay.
It's 75th. Southwest 23rd Way. So it's through the back way of the practice facility. There's the tennis court right there. I live on that road basically.
Okay.
So you just cross the street from those the tennis courts. You cross that street. I'm that first house, the blue house. Like a little blue house.
When I was with Coach Donovan, man, we weren't allowed to live off campus until my senior year. So I was in spring my freshman year, then Keys for 2 years.
Yeah.
And, finally got to live. It was great.
That's how it was at Michigan. I had to stay in the dorms for my first 2 years, and then at the time, Coach Beeline was able to decide if you were able to leave and stuff. And then when Coach Howard came, he made the rule the same, whether you're allowed to stay or get off campus. So
you got to be enjoying this Florida weather.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely what I'm used to, because I'm from Florida. So I'm used to the weather, the humidity, and the heat. But Michigan was definitely a good change, being able to adjust to that, because you never know where you're going to move to in the future. So it definitely prepared me for my future, whatever that's going to be, being able to adjust to the weather and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I've been a Florida guy. Florida. I'm from Jacksonville, and my whole adult life, as far as living in America, I've only lived in Florida. But I've been overseas, bounced around, so I've got a chance to experience living in different, where you really truly experience 4 seasons. And I'm like, do I really want to ever go up north? I kind of experience it, but I can't. You saw what just happened to Texas?
Yeah, it's crazy. Out of nowhere too. It was random.
I'm straight. And I was thinking about going to Austin, Texas for a while, because that's a really great city for young,
Yeah.
etc. But let's get into it. So you're from DeLand.
Yeah, DeLand, Florida. It's like about 15 to 20 minutes out of Daytona Beach. So I lived there like my whole high school career. And then actually now my parents moved out near the water. We sold our house that was in DeLand, and we live in Daytona Beach now. So I lived in Daytona Beach for a little bit while I was in high school. We moved from DeLand to Daytona to be closer and stuff. But then I stayed mostly in DeLand throughout my high school career.
So you were born and raised in DeLand for the most?
No, actually I'm from South Florida. So I'm from Pembroke Pines, which is in South Florida. It's it's by not too far from like Fort Lauderdale, all that area around there. But I'm from Pembroke Pines, so I was born and raised there until I was about like 8 or 9. And then my stepdad, who's lives with my mom now, and he's basically like a good father figure for me. He was in the military at the time, so he was in the Army. We moved around a couple places, like from Miami to Georgia, and then from Georgia to where I'm at now, which was like the Daytona area. And then we moved back to Miami and then back to where we're at. So we just jumped around a little bit, but not really too far out of like just around the country. We stayed like in the Southeast.
Yeah, not too much. So how did, we're going to, on this podcast, I just actually had your teammate Scotty on. I've been chasing him around for forever. It was really awesome to get some time with him. We on this podcast, it's just an opportunity for current players and as well as former players and coaches to get on and just share their journey. The fans get a chance to get to know you. We don't just only talk about basketball, talk about just adversity you face, real life, things you're going through and how you've overcome. Because yes, you play basketball, but you're still a human being.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Goes through normal experiences, and a lot of times people they see the highlights or they see all this other stuff. Never really get a chance to get to hear from you as a man, as a kid growing up. So we're gonna dive in. So when did basketball start for you? You didn't come out the womb 6'11".
Nah, yeah. So I mean, it's kind of funny. I didn't really start. Short story. I didn't start taking basketball seriously until like going into my sophomore year of high school. I mean, I played when I was younger. I played a bunch of different sports like baseball, football, and basketball. And I was actually really good at baseball. I was pretty talented. I played pitcher. I loved baseball. That was like my favorite sport. Because my biological father, he got drafted into the MLB back in the 80s. So he was super big on baseball when I was younger. And then I threw my shoulder out, like injured it really bad. I didn't have to do surgery or anything because I was like young. I kind of just didn't really care about it. And I was like, I'll just play another sport. So then I started playing basketball in like rec leagues and stuff. Yeah. My mom would let me play for fun and whatever. And I was still playing football. And I actually liked football a lot more. I wasn't really, I played quarterback. So, I'm tall and lanky. So I couldn't really play any other position, because if I did, I was going to get rocked. But I just played quarterback when I was younger. And I didn't play in high school. But when I got to high school, freshman year, I was on JV. Actually, I was like 6'4". I was decent. I was a little skilled because I worked out and stuff a lot, but I wasn't nearly as good as I was going to be. And then that summer, I really started taking basketball serious. I started watching like highlights and stuff, and I really started loving the game. And I realized that, and I was like, maybe this is something I can, be pretty good at. And then I grew. My freshman summer going into sophomore year of high school, I grew about 4.5 inches. So I went into the summer 6'4". Going into sophomore year of high school, I was like almost 6'9". Yeah. So I grew a lot that summer, and then played on varsity the rest of my high school career, and then just gradually grew a little by little, couple inches here. And then just started fell in love with the game, and it kind of just took off from there. So I would say I really started taking basketball serious probably going into my sophomore year, that summer, my freshman summer. But I started playing basketball when I was probably like in 6th grade, just for fun.
I gotta pause for a second to all my parents that are listening. Your kid can still have fun playing sports up until high school.
100%.
It doesn't have to be so serious. And look, because look at you. I mean, of course, not everyone will come out to be as tall as Colin is.
Yeah, definitely.
Just understand, parents, let your kids still enjoy it. Let them have fun. They can get better. If they don't have the passion, don't push them too hard. But of course, if they say they want to do it, hold them accountable. Help them become better. But don't take the joy away from the game, because it's just a game at the end of the day. Anyway, sure. Back to the show. So you started taking it more seriously coming into your sophomore year. And I mean, obviously it turned out really well because you correct me if I'm wrong, 7A player of the year.
Yeah, I was 7A player of the year in Florida. I was like a McDonald's All-American finalist, and then I was like in the running for Mr. Basketball. I was like top 5 or something like that. There were some pretty good players my senior year. It was actually like I think 3 or 4 guys in that class that are already in the NBA. But it was a pretty good class actually my senior year of high school for Florida basketball. So
yeah, I think in my class, I think Brandon Knight ended up winning Mr. Basketball. I ended up winning state because I went to Providence. I transferred my senior year, but even though I had a really good season, there was no chance. Brandon Knight was averaging like 45 a game.
Oh yeah, I played on his. I actually played on his AAU team. Going into my senior year, the last circuit, which was Adidas circuit. Junior summer, I played on Team Night, which was Adidas. So I played on his AAU team. Those fun facts.
So how did your recruiting process go through? Because that means you were kind of a late bloomer. It probably wasn't too hard for you to get spotted because you were you looking at your intangibles, your size, and then people starting to see your skill work. I'm sure it kind of probably just hit you like a storm.
Yeah.
With, your letters, calls, all that crazy stuff just happened out of nowhere. Probably had to be a little overwhelming at first.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely changed over time because like my sophomore year, I had a lot of smaller schools interested, and like I just didn't know how the recruiting process went. I know a lot of kids who like went through it, but I just never went through it like that type of process with phone calls every single day. And then going into my junior year, I had a little bit of high major interest, and then that summer is really when it took off. I got like probably got like 20 high major offers in that summer. And like there was literally every day, probably a couple hours where I couldn't put my phone down. I was getting text calls all day long and just talking to coaches, interacting and stuff like that. And I remember after like one AU game, because I played Zion Williamson my first AU game with Team Night, I got like 6 or 7 high major offers within the hour after that game. So like I was just sitting on my phone and like 6 or 7 random coaches.
Or something like
Nah, I just had a decent game. I had almost like a double, like 15 and 10, I think I almost had with a couple blocks, and I just had like a bunch of offers after the game. So it was definitely surprising, but it was definitely humbling. I enjoyed the process a lot, but I ended up going with Michigan after beginning of my senior year. I took 3 officials. I actually went to Florida here, Illinois, and then Michigan. So then I ended up going to Michigan out of high school.
How did your family along the way of the whole process, and when they see that you're taking basketball serious and you start getting offers, your mom and dad's perspective and their role, because it is overwhelming. Because my dad played football. My mom was not an athlete at all. They didn't really know much about the recruit. They kind of were, they helped me with my visits and little things here and there, but they weren't really extremely involved in the process because they didn't know what to do or what to say or how to pursue it. They knew I loved.
Yeah.
I grew up loving Florida. So they obviously weren't surprised. That's where I ended up committing after my sophomore year. But how was that process for you?
I definitely, what you said about your parents stuff, that definitely resonated as well. My parents never really went through recruiting process either. They didn't really know how like would be handled at first. So that first summer when I was getting a lot of interest, they kind of were just taking a back step, kind of just letting it all play out, letting my AU coaches help me because they've been through it. And then around my junior summer, senior year, they started getting the gist of it. They could tell how coaches were, they knew what questions to ask and what to find in a school and all the check marks that I needed to be checked off when I wanted to decide to go to a school. So they were definitely interactive throughout the process. They did a lot of their research for me, like when I didn't have the time to, look at certain schools and what they brought to the table. So they definitely helped me with that. And my mom was the main one who would talk to most of the coaches. But they were a little bit involved, but they definitely let me kind of control it as much as possible and ultimately obviously decide where I wanted to go. But they didn't know what to do at first, but they definitely over time, understood how like everything worked.
How did you guys, in the process, because you said it came down to Florida, Michigan, and Illinois, right? Your top 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did you guys all decide that, Michigan was where you saw the best fit for your future with Coach Beeline and time? How did that decision come to be made?
Well, at the time, coming out of high school too, I wanted just I thought being able to go a little bit away from home would help me grow a lot, mature as a person, because I was always in Florida. And I thought being able to, maybe take myself a little bit away from home would not worry about distractions or, people being in my ear all the time. And it definitely helped. I definitely grew a lot, matured tremendously as a person over the last couple of years. So I definitely think that played a big part. Also, Coach Beeline and the relationship he had with my parents and stuff, definitely hit home for me, being able to have a coach that, trusted me and saw a future for me, and had like a plan set for me over a couple of years of college. That definitely struck out to me. And then academic wise, Michigan was top notch at all the schools I had. So that definitely played a part in my decision.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's that's part of the growing process. It's it's not that it's a bad decision. That was part of your journey of you being able to become the man that you are now and the player that you are now. That things just didn't work out in that same way. You still got to experience going away from home.
Yeah.
And it's below degree weather.
Yeah, definitely makes you grow up and mature. You got to realize you can't just walk outside with a t-shirt on. You got to put some clothes on and a coat and stuff before you walk outside because it'll wake you up quick.
Did you shovel any snow?
Did you have to shovel snow? No, I didn't have to shovel any because I was staying in the dorm, but I would walk through it. I would have to put on a big pair of shoes or boots or whatever, and I would just walk through the whole pile of snow and slush or whatever it is. You still got to go to class, so.
Did they? I feel like if you live up north or like that, the school they have to give you boots. You shouldn't have to buy your boots.
Yeah, we got the team got some retro boots. Being Jordan and stuff, we got some retro boots that were pretty nice. So those definitely helped a lot.
Were they like weatherproof, walking through snow?
Yeah, they were like real boots. I guess Jordan, like Jumpman, came out with a new like track on the bottom of the shoe, and it was like real weather boots. Like they were pretty heavy duty boots, but they were just like retro boots, so they were actually pretty good for sure.
Okay, but I was gonna say, dang, they gonna make my man. He's been in Florida. He don't even know the right boots to get.
Yeah, nah, they definitely took care of people for sure. We definitely got treated the right way for sure.
That's what's up. So, what going into Michigan, coming out being highly recruited, what were your expectations as a freshman? Your relationship with Coach Beeline. Obviously, it's different when you're getting recruited to when you actually get there. You finally get a chance to see how you're being coached and just how the program really is, because you're finally immersed in the program. And Scotty was talking about it, how just at the beginning when he got to Florida, he didn't necessarily have that humility and kind of thinking that he had all the answers, or just like not seeing how Coach White has his best interest for him, because Coach White's older. He's been doing basketball longer. He's seen people succeed and go to the next level. But sometimes all that, as Coach Nick Saban would say, all that poison that you get from recruiting, from people in your ear telling you, you're this, you're that, you're going to be that. That stuff can get in the way and affect your expectations of how, like, hey, I'm a freshman. I need to treat this as though I know nothing. And whatever they say I'm going to do it hard. I'm going to do it. And if I mess up, yes, sir. All right, I'm going to do it better, and I'm going to do it hard. So what was it like, your expectations coming into
I think my overall expectations were just honestly, I was really open going into my college career. I knew I needed development, I needed growth. So I wasn't really too shocked when, I didn't get as many opportunities as other people would. But obviously as a basketball player, at the end of the day, it kind of sucks when you're not out there being able to compete and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, you definitely want to realize what's going on, what the problem is. But I definitely took it as like a developmental year, my freshman year and stuff like that, and just try to learn as best as I could. I worked on myself as much as possible. And Coach B was big on like self-growth and improving your mindset and how you really focus on basketball and everything that leads up to, how you perform. It's not just showing up to practice 20 minutes early and then just playing well. Like that doesn't happen that much. It doesn't happen at all. So being able to like learn from the older guys who were there for a couple of years definitely helped me a lot. They took me under my wing, but going into college, I obviously had some type of expectations. I have people that tell me, at the end of the day, you said there's some poison that people tell you, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And you don't really know what's going to happen. You think like, oh, it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but it's not how it is. College is a different breed. It's the next level. Everybody's bigger, stronger, skilled, and more skilled than you are. So you got to be able to just work every day. And that's really what I think I learned my freshman year, was just learning how to, work hard and really take take it serious. Because in high school, you think you take basketball serious, but most guys don't know truly what working hard is. Like, they make workouts every once in a while or show up to practice on time. But being able to show up early, being able to get lifts in before practice, being able to do extra development, watching film with coaches, that's definitely what I learned a lot. And I think going into my sophomore year, I really grasped that well. And then now I just use it to my ability, being able to play more and try to be a leader on a team, kind of shift gears as far as, being an upperclassman. So back to your question, though, going in high school, I definitely had some expectations, but they weren't as crazy as some of these other guys going into college for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it can be difficult because people think they know what hard work is. Oh, I need to work hard. Working hard is the entry level to anything you want to really achieve. That's You can't achieve anything if your mindset is like, I need to work hard. I need to have discipline. I need to push myself in my out of my comfort zone. You have to. If you're going to grow, if you're going to challenge yourself. I mean, you can even say that if you put yourself out of your comfort zone by going to Michigan.
Yeah.
That gave you a great chance to grow. And that stuff, it takes a long time. It can take a long time for someone to figure that out. It took me a while to figure that out, man. I thought I had all the answers as far as like how even, I don't know why I had like this bad attitude when it came to like receiving criticism, because it was the way I perceived it. Like attack against they were attacking me and telling me I'm not good enough or what. And it's it's usually your dad or a coach. They're criticizing or striving to correct something because they want you to excel and be the best.
Exactly.
But if you don't get that, it takes a long time to get that result. You don't like you said, you can't just walk into practice 20 minutes or early and think I'm going to have a great practice. It might happen once, it might happen twice, but to think you're going to sustain that through the whole season, it just doesn't happen like that.
It's that time of year again, folks. Conference tournaments are tipping off. Bubble teams are making their final push for a bid, while the best teams in the country are gearing up for a deep run. Auto bids will be punched, slippers will be fit, and our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook, are putting my listeners at the center of the action. If you bet $4 on an underdog in a select game this week, that underdog wins, you win $256. That's right, $256. Here's how it works. Download the app now and use the promo code FIELD68. When you sign up, scroll through the list of select underdogs, bet $4 on them to win, and cash $256 when they do. There is no better way for you to put your college hoops knowledge to use than to put your money where your mouth is, where DraftKings Sportsbook is. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. So remember, that's code FIELD68. That's FIELD 68 to turn $4 into $256. For a limited time only, must be 18 years or older. Restrictions apply. Go to DraftKings.com for details. Gambling problems?
Sure. So, your freshman year, obviously, you didn't play. Not a lot of guys play a lot their freshman year. And then when was it exactly, Coach? Was it after the season, Coach Beeline?
So it was like a little bit after the season in the summer. I decided to take the NBA job, and then we found out not too long after that Coach Howard was going to be coming. There was a little bit of a break, them in the hiring process and stuff like that. And then Coach Howard decided to come to Michigan, and I was like, wow, this is a good opportunity. A guy who's been in my shoes, who came to the school I'm at, why not stay and learn a lot of things from him and really understand, his mindset and what he went through, as well as him being a first-year coach and learning the different techniques of coaching and stuff like that as a head coach on this level.
What was it when Coach Howard got there? You seem like an extremely humble and open-minded guy that the silver lining on it all, kind of sucked because that was the guy, Coach Beeline was the one that recruited me and brought me here. Wish he was going to stay, but you know what? I wish him the best for whatever step he goes. Yeah. Now it's time to focus on what's next for me.
100%.
Coming in, repeating what you just said, 19 years in the NBA, et cetera, all this experience, so much success, won an NBA championship. time for me, you know, what was it like with him, your interactions of when realizing he was your coach, your first interaction with him, getting coached throughout the whole year? What was that like?
It was definitely humbling, and I cherished every moment with him, you know, being able to just, like you said, back to what you said about being coachable. Everything he said, I just, you know, went through one in 1 year and it stayed there. You know, a lot of guys, you know, I go through 1 year and come right out and it's like, man, coach, whatever, this, da, 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 or wouldn't care, you know, like, even though I wasn't playing as much as I, you know, thought myself would play my sophomore year, I still took it as an opportunity to learn as much as possible. You know, at the end of the day, I still had 4 years of college. So that's my second year. Why not be positive about the situation I'm in, and every day take it as a challenge to, you know, grow and get better as a person, but also like as a basketball player. Because at the end of the day, he's been through everything I've been through. He's telling me stuff that he's literally done. And he's, you know, his career is one and none. You know, he's been through everything on the basketball court and off the basketball court. So he knows the ins and outs. And he's such a personable coach. So he taught me a lot with basketball and, you know, being able to approach the game. He was like, there's some games he played 30 minutes and the next game he didn't play for the next 5 games. He's like, but at the end of the day, how do you respond? How do you become a good teammate? How do you help, you know, your teammates out when they're doing well or when they're not doing well? He's like, at the end of the day, it's not about you as a person or a player. There's other things that go on to it. So I think I've really learned, you know, a lot of things under his wing, and he definitely helped me grow a lot. And I'm using those things this year in the position I'm in as well.
Wow. Sometimes you got to go through a season of waiting. How do you prepare yourself in a season of waiting? It's going to you're gonna either have fruit when that it's time, like your time. Like, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity than having an opportunity come and you're not prepared for it. And I think that is so amazing that you were able to stay humble and have that mindset. Because I'm sure, like, especially being, you know, 19, 20 at that time with under Coach Howard, you wanted to play more.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's human nature. You feel as though you went through the freshman year that you're ready and wanted to play more. But him having that open communication and dialogue and that teaching mind attitude, that had to help so much of you being like, okay, I'm just going to make sure I'm going to continue to prepare because my time is going to come.
Yeah.
You know, is that the approach that you took?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's exactly, you said it perfect. You hit it right on the head. I think that's exactly the approach I took. And a lot of people, you know, I try to look at it as a different perspective. A lot of people, you know, look at transferring as like a negative thing, or, you know, this kid has a bad attitude or whatever the case may be. But I try to take it as positive as possible. I look at my last 2 years at my previous school as a positive. I think there were so many things I did off the court, but on the court in practice, film sessions. There's so much stuff that I learned that I think I kind of just took in that helped me succeed, you know, now where I'm at, and being able to just use those tools I learned to help myself grow as a player now where I'm at. And people just think, you know, if somebody's not playing, it's because this and this. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's just not your time. At the end of the day, there's certain things that may be in place. There's guys ahead of you that deserve more opportunity. You got to just swallow that pride and understand, you know, I got to get better as a person, but I also got to get better as a player and just grow, because when that time does come, you got to be ready. Because if you're not ready, then they're just going to look at you like, what were you doing when you weren't getting that opportunity? So I kind of just look at that as a positive. I don't really try to be as negative minded as, you know, some people may be. I really cherish the opportunities I had in my last 2 years. So I try to just look at everything as a positive thing and just keep moving forward.
That mindset you have isn't something you just get overnight.
Yeah, for sure.
Human nature says, this isn't fair. This shouldn't be happening to me. Pity party. It's his fault. It's their fault.
Yeah.
Doesn't like me. Blah, blah, blah. The coach is that. Like, where's the source of that inspiration, that positive mindset, that optimism, that how I can grow? How can I use the situation, even though it might not be what I necessarily want, I can still use this season, this opportunity, this time to get better, to do, like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think, like you said, my first year it was harder because I was younger, you know, a little bit immature. I kind of just took it as like a, you know, dang, man, like they don't want me to do this. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And kind of took it a little negative. And then over the year, I grew up and realized, like, for instance, my freshman year, like after games, if I wouldn't play a lot, I would just go back to my dorm room and go to sleep, or I'd go back to my dorm room and play video games. And then my sophomore year, every game we had, every single home game, I stayed after my home game and worked out for, depending on how much I played. So if I played a good amount of minutes, I wouldn't work out as long because my body would be tired for practice. But if I didn't play a lot, I would do a bunch of running after that game. I would get up and down in the practice facility, and I'd do like a 45-minute workout probably with the manager, just so I could stay ready and get my body going as if I were playing. So I kind of just switched that mindset to just, honestly, it was like driven internally, but also there was people that helped me, definitely, like my mom. She was there with me through everything, every game. She called me, every practice I would talk to her, and she would just keep motivating me. Nobody was really negative in my circle. Even though I kept it really tight, I didn't really have many outside noises. While I was at Michigan, I had a lot of people, and I still keep it tight. I still keep, the ones that are really close to me, really close when I talk to them on the phone or whatever, because I know those are the ones that actually care about me and want me to do well, and just don't care about the accolades or whatever's on social media. They really, truly care about me as a person. So I would say my mom, my stepdad were definitely the ones who were there every single day. Like sometimes I would call her and FaceTime her, and she would just watch me work out. And so that was really big for me to just keep pushing. And I understood I had somebody who really cared about me and wanted me to do well. So,
man, I'm not gonna lie, man, that pumps me up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It just pumps me up, because to have that discipline, that mindset, and I'm sure maybe you didn't do it but you did that consistently of like after games of like, and it shifted in your mind, because people might see what you're doing now and be like, surprised or whatever it may be, but those people that have been in your circle, that have seen you in the dark, that you're able to vent to, and sometimes when you've been frustrated or whatever it may be, you've been able to like, it's so sweet. I'm sure it's got to be so sweet for your parents and your friends to see how well you're doing after staying positive, being able to support you through that all. That's why it's so important having a small circle and of people that love before you're even a basketball player. They love you for who you are. They love you whether you stop playing basketball tomorrow. Their love for you is not going to change, but they're with you in the dark. They're with you when no one's seeing you. You're not playing, whatever it may be, because a lot of times kids only see the results.
Yeah.
Like you see Steph Curry being able to knock shots down from half court, and they're like, "Oh, I can go do it." Like, no, Steph started under the basket.
Yeah.
Countless hundreds of thousands of shots that he took, times in the gym, being frustrated, probably fighting with his dad or whatever it may be, get to that point. And that's the same thing for yourself. So like, for you, and seeing how you go from averaging, I got it right here, your sophomore year, you're playing like 8 minutes,
3 points,
maybe 3 points, to now this year, your junior year, you're playing 25 minutes, averaging 13 points. Like, do you just like sit back, and is it easy? Because the human nature can come in again and can combat you to say like, I made it, I did it. And of course, like, yes, you've achieved something great, but does your hunger still remain like, I need to keep getting better. I need to keep putting that work. You got to be smart about it, because obviously you're playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
But do you take a moment just to like pat yourself on the back to say like, I'm proud of myself for remaining positive, but I need to continue to push myself.
Yeah.
I'm aiming. I know I can be this great. I know I can be really good. Like, how do you handle the success that you've had in this season?
Yeah. I think 100%. I think that's for sure true. I think just being able to, I've realized like the position I'm in now, and it's definitely humbling, and I'm definitely, happy for myself, but I'm still kind of I wouldn't want to say a state of shock, but like, it's happening so fast. Like, I feel like I just got to Florida. I'm not going to lie. Like, I forgot who else. I think I was talking to Quez, my teammate, yesterday, and I was just like, bro, we've already been here for almost like 8 months. Like, it feels like I just came to Florida in July. I was like, this is happening so quickly. So I don't think it'll fully all hit me until the end of the season. And that depends on how far we go. So if we go pretty far, it'll be a crazy experience. But it still fully hasn't hit me yet that I'm doing what I'm doing. But I think I'm just living in the moment, not trying to think about all the outside noise and whatever's going on social media or what other people are telling me. I kind of still, like I said, listen to my circle, because my mom tells me, I could have a great game and she'll be like, look, you still got to work on this, and this. Like, don't get too ahead of yourself here, because she was like, there were certain plays I saw you you shouldn't have done what you did, and you did it. And then she'll get on me about that stuff. And obviously the coaches, they do the same stuff. Nobody's going to blow smoke. They're going to let you know, like, we expect this from you now. You've proven what you can do, but, we need you at this end of the season to lead and be a teammate, not worry about yourself. So I think there were definitely instances where I kind of took a step back and was like, dang, man, like, it's crazy. Like, cause like I remember this time last year, I wasn't even getting a certain opportunity. And now like I was player of the week, and I was just like, dang, like I definitely, came a long way, but at the end of the day, there's still a long way to go to get to where I want to be.
Yeah.
But Coach White sat down and talked to me. He told this to the media, I think, or something, but he was like, after one of my player of the weeks, he was like, how did Colin handle success? And he was like, I'm not trying to get on him, but I don't think he handled it too well. Cause I think like the practice after my player of the week or something, I didn't have as good of a practice as I'm used to. And he was like, look, like, it's cool. You got that. That's awesome. Rah. But you have a practice the next day. You got another game. Like, you got to move on. You got to realize, like, that's cool, but it's just an accolade. It doesn't help the team out at all. That's not going to help us win an SEC championship or win a certain amount of games. So you got to be able to move on. And I think now, being a little bit further in the season, I've realized that and understood, like, what that means, and being able to have the recognition and just move on from it and be able to, carry the momentum and help the team as a leader. Cause I'm an upperclassman and we don't have any seniors. So
right.
You got to be able to teach the younger guys, things.
Man. Like you're in the middle of the season, so it's kind of hard to relax. Relax when the job's done. Relax. Sure. You know what the goal is. You know what the mission is as a team. That what you're focusing and locked in on. When achieved, like that's the aim. Anything else that comes along, that's extra, and it's great. It's awesome to be able to get acknowledged for what you're doing. Yeah. But you guys, what your goal is. Is to win. Is to come away with a trophy and to make a great run in the tournament, and you guys are starting to really look really good. So why did you, in deciding what ultimately made you think you had to transfer or want to transfer, and then how did Coach White and how did Florida come back on the radar for you to I know I need to go back home to Florida with Coach White, and that's where I'm gonna start things again.
Yeah, well, when COVID hit, it was like super random, and I came home we were at the Big Ten tournament. I came home a couple of days after that. I flew home because they shut down the state of Michigan like a week after we got back from COVID, the Big Ten tournament, and I came home. And I was still working out and stuff like that. And I was still, I didn't even have a thought of transferring yet. And I just, sat down and talked to my family and really realized what our priorities were with me moving forward. And I just, I really realized, I got to cherish, being closer to my family and giving them an opportunity to see me play all the time, because they've sacrificed so much for me as a player. They put so much time and effort into, me becoming where I was at and stuff like that. I feel like I kind of just a little bit had to pay it back a little bit, being able to be closer to home. It didn't have to be in Florida. It had to be somewhere near home, just to be able to let my parents come see me and be closer to them. And not a lot of people know this because it's something you kind of just keep to yourself. But I went through a lot of stuff mentally while I was at Michigan. I think I just, my head was good on the basketball court, but you only can numb certain things for so long when you're playing basketball. And, mental health is a really big thing. So I think just being able to be close to my family, close to my friends, it definitely helped me restore my confidence and my love for the game a lot. Even though it was pretty high, I think right now I've never loved basketball more. And it's easy to say that because I'm doing well and succeeding, but it's not even that. Even if I wasn't succeeding or doing what I'm doing, I just have such a love for the game now that, working out every day. But ultimately transferring, just being close to home, that was probably the biggest thing. And then when I decided to transfer, Coach White, he hit me up. I still had his number saved. He had my number saved because we were really close in high school during the recruiting process. And he was like, I was just looking and I saw you were available. He's like, I had to text you right away. He's like, I couldn't wait at all. And I was like, that's awesome. He was like, I watched your film and stuff. We got stuff we can work on, but I want you to, become a Gator and stuff like that. And I definitely realized it was something I wanted to do after I, kept talking to the coaches and we were doing Zoom calls. So I ultimately ended up coming here, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity he gave me, and I definitely like Coach White a lot, and he's a great coach. He helps me out every day. He's definitely a really good coach. So,
I absolutely love Coach White, and what you said on the side of mental health and being close to your family, being able to Zoom and FaceTime and whatever it may be can only, go so far. Sometimes you need a physical hug. You need to physically see and look your family in the eye. So, I fortunately was able to go to Florida, and from being from Jacksonville, my family was able to come to every game. My grandparents really are the reason that I ended up coming to Florida. They were season ticket holder football fans since like 92 or something like that. And, just when I sit back and think about how much of a blessing it had to be for them that their grandson went to Florida and played basketball there, like something they probably never imagined. Like it's so cool. But, obviously COVID affected a lot of things, the pandemic, and you're coming into Florida as a new guy. But there were some silver linings, and because you guys you spent a lot of time together when you got there, right? And we're able to. I'm not sure how much you guys were able to practice, and I know that the facility got shut down because I was in Gainesville January and February of 2020, and then because I was with Eric Murphy, we were training, and everything got shut down. And I'm not sure when did you get to Gainesville?
Well, we were originally supposed to come in June, and then Coach White pushed it back a month. He wanted to make sure everybody was good, like you said, mentally, and everybody ready to just come full force when we got here. So we got here July. It was like a little bit later in July. And I've been here ever since, obviously, but we got here in July of last summer.
Okay. And, things were so different with the process and not being able to like have class in person and just like having a normal college life. Because, you got to have a life outside of basketball. I try to tell my teammates or guys like, hey, make some friends that aren't basketball players.
Definitely.
So you go and like experience different things, but that wasn't really the case. You could have so much as this year going into the season, and I think that really kind of hurt Kentucky because they bring in so many freshmen and they didn't get to have a full summer to try to mesh together and figure things out. So I think it was really hard for them when the season came, as we can see. I can't say I'm losing sleep over the Kentucky Wildcats not having 10 wins this year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I hope there's some Wildcats listening and they give me a bad review, but but what did you guys do to prepare and to get close? Being a rookie coming to, or a new guy coming to Florida, and how did you mesh with the guys?
Yeah, I think at first it was a little weird because I'm so used to being in person and being able to, dap teammates up or get to know guys and, get to know who they are. But I think Coach White and the coaching staff did a great job. We did Zoom calls like almost every day. We were on Zoom almost every day, if not definitely every other day. He was on it every day, texting our group chat. And we did like, it sounds like childish, but we did like little activities to get to know each other. Like we all had a notebook and a pen, and we would write down everybody, where they're from, their hometown, family, siblings, all that stuff, what they like, what they don't like, just to try to get to know everybody and who they are as a person. And then, when you're on the phone with somebody every day, even though it's not person, you can still kind of get to know how they are as a person. Like the guys who don't talk as much, or the guys who are super outgoing, the guys who are the funny guys who blurt out and say stuff like that. So being able to just get to know everybody on the team, that definitely helped. For when I got here, kind of just felt like I was already on the team. It felt like it was just normal, and we were just working out. Being able to just be with them helped build that relationship. But I think over the summer before we got here, doing those Zoom calls for like that month or 2 month period helped us grow and get a little bit more connected, as if we were together in person.
Wow. Yeah, I got to imagine that, because that's something you guys are doing every day. You probably had something to really look forward to,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Being able to just work out and then like being able to meet with the guys definitely helped my routine. I had like a routine every day, even though it's COVID, like, you can't really go anywhere. So you got to have a routine. You can either just sit there and be lazy, or you can, take it positively. So I was working out every day, getting my 2 workouts in a day, and then looking forward to our team Zoom calls. And just getting to know everybody.
Yeah. So getting to the start of the season, Colin, you guys are projected for things to go really well. And then, you know, we don't have to, obviously don't want to get into details because, you know, we want to be sensitive to everything that's happened with Keontae. But goodness gracious, man, that everything that happened to him going through that, I mean, first, the moment of when he actually collapsed on the court, you know, I can't. I instantly thought of Hank Gathers, if you remember him.
Yeah.
He passed away on the court. Gosh, things just, the perspective on life just changes in that moment so much more. You don't give a damn about basketball at that point. You want the guy that, especially since you know him so well as your teammate, him to do well. And you know, as a team, you know, how did you guys handle or you know, your emotions in that the vulnerability of seeing your brother just collapse and not knowing what's going to happen? Like, how did you guys handle all of that stuff?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely rough. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I was kind of just in shock because I actually wasn't. Just got subbed out, so we were in a timeout and they were coming out the timeout. I was walking towards the bench to sit down, and they were obviously walking next to him, and then I just heard this loud bang, and I was just like, at first I thought it was maybe something going on up top by the, you know, concessions or something, so I didn't look right away. And I heard one of our teammates say like, "Oh my God, what the heck?" And then like I turned around, I see it, and I was just like, "Dang!" Like I kind of just got in a state of shock. Like I didn't know what to do, I didn't know what to think, and we were all just like what's going on? But like we were just, it was really eye opening and definitely the most humbling thing I've been through my whole life. You know, just to see you know, his perspective and how well he's doing now compared to what happened. You know, it's such a humbling thing to go through. Like if you were there, you understand like how it feels. Like just everything you do now and the rest of your life, you just take it for granted because you never know what actually can happen to somebody or can happen to yourself. And it sounds, you know, like what anybody would say, but it's really true. Like being able to go through something like that, it's definitely traumatizing, and it definitely will stick with you for a long time, even if he's doing better. But it definitely, you know, helps you realize this life we have isn't always so perfect or isn't always going to go the way we want, or might not be as long as you think it is. So why be negative? Just cherish everything you have, and being able to see Keontae come to practice every day with a smile on his face just gives me hope and motivation for myself. Because like, you know, why should I have attitude? Why should I be negative coming to the gym? Why should I be complaining about X's and O's or this and that when this guy had so much going for him and it just got completely shut down out of nowhere? So like, you know, being able to just see him be positive and help us coaching, and he gives me tips all the time. Like he'll tell me, you know, things he's been through on the court, and he tells me like, "Yo, man, like you're good, but keep doing this. Let the game come to you." And he just talks me through the games and stuff like that, and it definitely gives me a little bit more of a chip on my shoulder. Yeah. Even though I already have one, it gives me another chip. So it just makes me want to go a little bit more harder, being able to just see that, you know, he wants to be out there just as bad as we do, if not more, because, you know, he's fighting through that. But, you know, the overall experience was definitely crazy, but it's definitely humbling, I would say. That's the biggest thing. It humbles you a lot. And I think everybody on the team realizes that. Everybody in that gym, you know, knows what went down, and it definitely opened a lot of eyes for everybody.
I highly recommend if you get a chance to listen to I Am Athlete podcast. It's got Fred Taylor, Brandon Marshall, Ocho Cinco, and all from, you know, they talk about a bunch of things. And I was actually listening to them last night, and they were actually talking about on an episode of vulnerability and like why as men, you know, do we have to be macho and tough, and like why don't we talk to each other about, because we all have an expiration date. We all do. When something like that, you see that happen to your brother or anyone close to you, you take the chance to look at your own mortality, I should say. So I highly recommend that you give it a listen. They talk about a lot of other topics, but that just really stuck with me. And I was like, man, you know, a lot of things don't matter in that moment. A lot of things, you know, you realize basketball is literally just a game, and it is so awesome seeing that Keontae is in this time doing okay, and just like being able to carry, because I guarantee, you know, he's just got to be so grateful and thankful to still be with guys and be able to to coach and be around the team and really praying that he's going to be cleared to play again one day, and being able to wear that Gator uniform. But man, yeah, that's awesome that you guys have been able to have that perspective, and I know you guys are playing for him. You know, that's you guys.
Yeah.
This Gator team from the last 2 years is going through the most adversity probably any team has ever gone through.
Yeah.
Scott got COVID in the middle of the season as well. You've had other players get COVID. Anthony Drucci had it as well. So the fact that you guys have continued to write your own story and use what's happened as motivation to not pout, to not point fingers, to understand that this things can happen like this in life, because outside of basketball, stuff like this can happen. Knock on wood, I hope we don't ever have to get a phone call that we don't want to get, but that's the reality. Like I said, everyone has an expiration date. But I'm really so glad to see how you guys have handled everything, man. Moving forward, and your leadership, especially working with Big O. I knew O needed another guy to help him grow up a little bit. He's so long, man.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's athletic as heck, man. Stuff he does, I'll be like, dang.
Some of the stuff he does, but it's like, after watching with his freshman year, I was like, man, he just needs to mature a little bit more. And, having someone like you that can show him the ropes of what he needs, and even Jason as well, of like that consistency, the attitude, bro, you exhibit a professional better than a lot of guys that I've played with. With your mindset, because when you become a pro, especially if you play overseas, a lot of times you're not getting no explanation. You're not getting a coach that's sitting down and talking to you and saying this and that. It's usually you're getting fined, or you just don't play, and you just got to show up and stay ready. Because if you don't stay ready, you get fined or you get cut. And if you get cut, you're not getting paid, and you're playing at this point to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, definitely, yeah.
So, see, I know you got the season is coming here to a close. You guys are moving. Got a game tonight, actually. This episode will probably air next week. Wishing you the best. Wishing Coach White, if he hears this, know his birthday was yesterday. Scotty's birthday is coming up. When's your birthday?
May 25th. So I'm 20 right now. So I'll be 21 in May.
Finally be legal.
Yeah, I'm still a little young, but I'll be there. I'll get there.
It's all good. But I guess the last thing I want to ask you before I let you go and get ready is, man, what is the last thing I want to ask you? I asked Scotty this, but I want to, how do you want to be remembered?
As in what, like, aspect? As far as Florida, or just in general? Like, in general?
In general, as a man, how do you want to be remembered?
I would say the main thing I try to base myself off of and pride myself off of would just be, I just want to impact as many people as possible. Like, not even basketball. Basketball definitely will be, I guess, say like a building block to help me, like make a name for myself and help, like people, recognize me as a basketball player. But I think just being able to just, change a lot of people's lives. Like if I make it to the NBA or, play professional basketball, I want to be able to donate a lot of money to homeless shelters. And when I make it, I have like this thing I'm working on right now. I don't know for sure how it's going to work out, but me and my mom have talked about it a lot. I want to make like a whole homeless shelter after my name and stuff like that. So I just really want to change people's lives that are going through a lot. And I think just being able to impact those people as much as possible, that one day they can say, like Colin Castleton really helped me, change my life and help get to where I'm at now, no matter what the case may be. But I know it sounds broad, but I don't really know exactly yet, because I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still really young. I think right now what I would want to do for my future and be remembered would just be somebody that super positive. Everybody could, I can make anybody laugh. I don't bring any type of negative vibes.
I see that.
Be a positive person. Try to make, if a room was boring, I'm gonna come in there and make it uplifted and happy as possible. But like I said, back to what I said, just being able to change somebody's life. I really want to be able to, change somebody's life by the time by the time I move on from this life. But that'll probably be the biggest thing. And then just as far as basketball, just, teach as many people all the stuff I've been through and help them, use that to their advantage. So.
Well, man, I'll tell you, man, just through the 20 years that you've been on this earth so far, you definitely have a great story.
Appreciate it.
The parts that you've been able to share. I think a mistake sometimes people make is thinking they have to wait to get somewhere to be who they want to be. You can be, you are being that guy, but continue to be that guy right now. Be that giver. Be that person.
I got you.
You in the small, be a good steward with what you have in the little.
Yeah.
And don't wait till later, because like we said, life is so expected in all types of curves. It's not linear. We all wish that it was, but each and every day, how can I impact this room? How can I bring energy? How can I put a smile on this person's face? How can I keep my eyes open to see who seems like they're doing bad today? Can I put a smile on their face? Can I maybe I intentionally open the door for these people or whatever it may be? Those small things can go a long way, because we never know what someone's going through. But man, I can't wait to watch the game tonight, man.
Appreciate it.
I'm freaking pumped and can't wait to see what you guys do with the rest of the season, man. It's been an honor having you on.
Same here.
I'll send you the link so you can go ahead and send this over to your family when this gets edited.
All right.
I'm gonna come up next week. I'll get all that stuff to you. But thank you so much for your time, man. This
bro. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on here. Definitely. I've heard a lot about you since I've been here. So definitely, your career here was great, and I watched some highlights and stuff. You were a beast when you're here for sure. So I try to bring some of that passion as well, because I know a lot of fans, they like, big guys who are passionate and stuff like that. And I think you were somebody who definitely models that. And so I'm trying to just do as much as possible, but I appreciate you having me on here. Sure. It's good to get to know you.
Absolutely, man. Leave the legend of Colin Castleton at UF, man. I can't wait.
I got you. For sure.
Do with the rest of your career.
100%.
Yes, sir. I'll catch you later,
all right,
brother.
Man. Appreciate it. I'll see you.
Would you look at that? 2 back-to-back episodes of the current Florida basketball team. Scotty Lewis was last week, and this episode was Colin Castleton. Such a great, humble spirit. Someone that just embodies how we should all look at life. Continue to keep our eyes on the positive things, pushing through in seasons when things don't seem like they're fair or whatever it may be. I really, really love that episode, really getting a chance to, I don't necessarily know all these guys that I interview super well, so it's a great opportunity for me to do this for myself selfishly and for you guys as the fans. So if you like the episode, would you please share it? Would you please get this to your friends, your family, other Gator fans that might enjoy this? We're in March. It's March Madness, baby. It's March Madness, baby. If you know what I'm saying. I don't know why I went there. Whatever. Anyways, guys, thank you again so much for listening. Thank you again to the Field of 68 Media Network for making all of this possible. Everyone, March Madness is here. Gator Nation, we're about to rock it up. We're about to go crazy in the SEC tournament. We're about to go crazy in the NCAA tournament. Let's just do one thing. Stay rowdy.